So you just bought a new Venstar Wi-Fi thermostat and you're confused. Okay, let's go through it here. I recommend that all installers keep the default screen. It's simple enough, everything's there, you can't go wrong. So here we are in the default screen. If you notice on this side we have a little fan button. If we click on it here, we have the option to run the fan automatic or on. Automatic, the fan will only run where there's a demand of heat or air conditioning, and stop when the demand is satisfied on both sides. On, the fan runs continuously, whether the demand is satisfied or not. So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, your fan's going to run non-stop. It's an option. Some people have humidity problems, or some people like to have the airflow going all the time. It's also known to be easier on the motor. There's less starting and stopping. But that's your option. It's no big deal whether you run it on or auto. Unless you have problems with humidity or airflow, and you want to filter the air also better. It's better recommended on. So we'll go back to auto here. This side here we have a mode button, which is the same as this button here. So if we can click on mode, we have our options to run the cool, the heat, the auto mode. Auto mode basically is it'll cool and heat. You can adjust your cooling temperature and your heating temperature, and you just leave it go. If you're going to heat and air condition the same day, you're not really saving any money, but that's an option. So we'll go back to cool, let's say. So if you want to raise the temperature, warmer, cooler, cool the temperature. The only thing about the screen that can cause a problem is this away button. If by accident you hit the away button, it's going to think the house is empty. There's nobody home. So you just seen its settings change. So it's going to heat the house to a maximum of 13 degrees Celsius and cool it to 29.5, the strict minimum, because it assumes the house is empty. Sometimes we can get a service call in the winter where, oh, it's not heating properly. The client may have hit the away button by mistake and they can't adjust the heat and they're freaking out. But anyway, just make sure you don't hit the away button. You want the home button. You're at home, so you want the regular heat that you're asking at all times. There we go, back to that button there. Okay, let's get into the menu here. In your menu buttons, you have the schedule where you can set up to certain times of the day. If you want to lower the heat or have the heat come on at a certain time in the morning and go off at a certain time of night for sleeping, you can adjust all that up in there. Alerts, depending on how the technician set up your thermostat, you can get maintenance alerts, filter alerts, UV light alerts, whatever. Information gives you the runtime on heating or air conditioning in a graph. You can go the last 7 days. You can delete your runtime, whatever, heating or cooling, it doesn't really matter. And after that we have display, where you can adjust the brightness, lower the brightness, set your nighttime dinner, maintenance, basically clean the screen, whatever. After that we have screensaver, where you can set up screensaver. Preferences, where you could set your custom wallpaper, sounds, colors, whatever. And below that we have humidity. In the humidity section you have a humidification mode and dehumidification mode. Depending if your thermostat is connected to a humidifier or dehumidifier, you may have the option of adjusting your humidity levels depending if it's adjusted properly or not. And then after this we have the Wi-Fi. We recommend you always enable the Wi-Fi, even if you don't use the software to run or check your system from a distance. When you're connected to the Wi-Fi, you have access to all the firmware and thermostat updates every time something changes. So your thermostat is always up to date. So go back. Vacation away is you can set your schedule, set your time and date in here manually. But if you're connected to the Wi-Fi, it automatically sets the time and the date. Skyport is your software. You download the software to set up a Skyport account. Then you can use the software to adjust your temperature, check on your house, whatever, from a distance from anywhere in the world, actually, on your phone or your laptop. The only thing that can cause a problem is in the settings here. You can play around in the settings. You can change the name, your available modes, your SD card setup, general setup for language, Celsius, Fahrenheit, whatever. The only thing we say is stay away from installation settings. You let the technician who installed the unit adjust the installation settings to the system that he installed. You don't want to go around in there and change things, because if you do, you could end up not having heat or not having air conditioning, or debalance the whole system that the installer installed. So if we go back, I think there is something else down here. Yeah, security. You can set up a code on your access code on your screen. So if you don't want anybody playing your thermostat, to get into the thermostat, they need your 4-digit access code. And then last but not least, we have smart fans. So those are for people who don't run the fan continuously. If, depending on whether the weather is warm or cool, or depending how you got your thermostat set up inside, if the system sees that the fan hasn't started or pushed any air in a few hours, it'll just automatically start the fan every now and then, just to have a airflow in the house and keep things comfortable. So back we go to the main screen, and that's basically it. I mean, it's a pretty cool thermostat, and just don't let it scare you. Mode off. Enjoy your thermostat.